How's it going? Been a while since I've made one of these videos. Quick update on my life. I moved out of uptown Minneapolis. I'm now living in a studio by myself in St. Paul. I quit vaping and I'm on the nicotine gum now. I'm single. I started running, which is, if you know me, I fucking hate cardio. So when the gyms closed down, it was pretty much all I could do. So I started running and I started actually selling my beats. Trading has been going pretty well too. Really frustrating in the beginning, but I finally made some progress. That being said, I still got a lot of stuff I gotta work on. And one of the biggest things holding me back in life today, that has been holding me back through my entire life, and the reason why I stopped making these videos, was because I was afraid. Fear has always been the biggest enemy in my life. And I think that a lot of people underestimate how powerful fear can be. I think it's important that people understand how serious fear can be. If you live your life based on fear, you can let it ruin your entire life. People stay in abusive relationships because they're afraid that they're never gonna find somebody else, or they're afraid to quit doing drugs because they're afraid of how it's gonna feel or who they're gonna be without them. People are afraid to step out of their comfort zone and go for that new job because they're afraid they're gonna fail, or they're afraid they're not gonna make it, or they're gonna get laughed at, or fear is something that should never be underestimated. And I bet if you look at your own life, there's a lot of stuff that you wish you could do, but you're not doing because you're afraid. This is something that I've decided that I'm going to work on consistently, is getting over fear. And I'm starting by making these videos again. So I'm going to start trying to make these videos at least once a week, maybe twice a week. But, I just was going through some old photos and screenshots, and I have a lot of messages from a lot of you guys saying like how these videos, even just the few that I've put up, have been really inspirational, have really helped you. And even people that I've never met have been messaging me saying like, I barely even know who you are, but I look forward to seeing your uploads every week, and it's really inspirational to just see someone like you with such an attitude. And I'm not saying this to toot my own horn at all. I mean, the reason that I saved those screenshots and those DMs was because I wanted to make sure that I reminded myself why I was doing this. And I wasn't just making these videos for me. I was making these videos for everybody else too. There's a lot of broken people in the world, man, and really hard to see people going through such hell, especially when you've been there. When you go through times in your life when you don't have anybody or anything, you don't have money or family or friends, and even some of my friends have had times where they don't even have a place to live, and they sleep in their car, and on top of that they don't even have friends or family, and they're also dealing with their own trauma. And it really puts you in your place when you realize how good you can have it when there's other people who may not ever get that. And it's even more heartbreaking to see when people choose not to have that, because the fear is so great that they'd rather just stay in a familiar fear. For a long time I struggled with trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, where I want to extract meaning. I used to be a nihilist. I I used to go through existential crisis after existential crisis, and it was just like I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know why I was here. But then I decided that my purpose was to leave a mark on society and at least be one positive influence on the world. Whether it does anything for me financially or in terms of popularity or anything, I don't care. The most important thing for me is to make some kind of wave in the universe that changes things, that maybe will change the life of somebody who changes the world. You know, I think even Tupac said something similar.
I'm not saying I'm going to rule the world or I'm going to change the world, but I guarantee that I will spark the brain that will change the world. And that's our job, is to spark somebody else watching us. We might not be the ones, but let's not be selfish, and because we're not going to change the world, let's not talk about how we should change it.
But I believe it. It's gotten to the point now where I'm like, I was recently going through a really hard time with this whole coronavirus shit. It's really trying a lot of people right now. So I'm just here to say that if I can get myself out of this shit hole that I was in, then I think you can too. And I'm gonna try to share at least once a week what I'm going through, the struggles that I'm facing, and explain how I'm getting around it, because life is hard, man, but you're not gonna get out alive, so you might as well fight to the death. Anyway, I'll check in with you guys later. I gotta go run, since that's all I really got right now for exercise. So, talk to you later. Peace.